iHeart, get ready. Fantasy football is here. Welcome to the Scout Fantasy Show. ScoutFantasy.com is home to the Fantasy Football World Championships and the best players in the world. Real money winners giving their secrets to help you win. Now exclusively on iHeart. This is the Scout Fantasy Show with your host, the one, the only, Dr. Roto.
Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards. Get out the copay. The office, it's open, my friends. All right, let's get to some news today. The Miami Marlins, there's a report, according to Forbes. Forbes, you don't really get, it's not like The Onion. You're getting some solid reporting in Forbes. The Marlins are going to sell for $1.6 billion. That is crazy. Jeffrey Loria paid $158 million in 2002. And then he gets $1.6 billion for this team? This train wreck of a franchise? I can't get over it. Nobody goes to the games in Miami. They're too busy going to the beach. I don't know who's paying this kind of money. Seriously. Jeffrey Loria is probably like, you know how when you own a house, you're like, well, I got my house for $300,000, but if somebody's willing to give me $1 million, I'll sell it. And you put it on the market for $1 million, and somebody goes, I'll give you $1 million. And you're like, all right, sold. You never thought you were going to get $1 million, but there you go, and you get the $1 million. Crazy, right? Unreal. We'll have to see if these reports are true. But, I mean, unreal. Unreal who's going to buy the Marlins for that much. I mean, maybe a guy who just wants to always own a baseball team. And there you have it. So the Blue Jays, $3 million. J.P. Howell, it's a good reliever. Jerry Blevins gets about 1 year, $6.5 million from the Mets. Mike Trout will not be in the WBC. I'm just fine with that. I don't want any of my fantasy players in the WBC. In fact, I don't even like the WBC. I mean, I like the nationalism of it all. You know, Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, Venezuela and Italy. I get it. But can't we do it after the season's over? Why do I have to do it now when one of my guys can get injured? Seriously, if Chris Archer blows out his AC, his elbow, gets a torn ligament, I'm going to be annoyed. Really annoyed. And if I'm a general manager, there's no way I'm letting anybody who's going to be on my 25-man roster, no way I'm letting anybody go play. I don't care if we lose. I don't care. Play with AAA players. I don't care. But I'm not putting one of my important guys out there. I just don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it. Simple as that. What do you get if you win? Seriously, what do you get if you win? Congratulations, you won the World Baseball Classic. Oh my God, that's all good. Really? I don't think you get anything out of it. All right. Today, we go to the Baltimore Orioles. We take a look at the Baltimore Orioles as we said we do. One team, one day. Orioles baseball. They get rid of Matt Wieters, and they bring in Wellington Castillo. I like this guy. He can hit. He's just never been 100%. And he's never had that full opportunity. But last year, had 416 at-bats, had 14 home runs. I think he plays well in Baltimore. Not a big Caleb Joseph fan. I am a Wellington Castillo fan. I think this guy is a sleeper. Look, catching position, they're not a lot of great catchers. But I think this guy is pretty good. Now, the top prospect in their system is this guy named Chance Sisco. He's the top prospect in the Orioles system. The guy can hit. I mean, he's a catcher who hit 320 in Double-A. So Castillo will probably show Chance Sisco the ropes, and they may split some time. I think we see Sisco probably in September. But if Castillo plays well, then Chance Sisco will wait another year. They'll give him a full year at AAA. If Castillo gets hurt or he sucks, then you may see him. First base, we have Chris Davis. And Chris Davis is just synonymous with power. Last few years, 33, 53, 26, 47, 38. That's what the guy does. He hits home runs. He's in the right park. And you know what? He was originally a 4A type player at Texas. Comes to Baltimore. Buck Showalter goes, you're my guy. And he started to hit. Right? Buck Showalter is good that way. Same thing with Jonathan Scope. Here's a guy who hit 25 home runs last year, went up from 15 to 25, and had 615 at-bats. I think that's a number he could replicate. He could duplicate that. Imitate it, duplicate, replicate, whatever word you want to use. Why can't he go 25-80 again? I think he can. He's 25 years old. How about 25 home runs for a 25-year-old? I think that's possible. Not a big J.J. Hardy fan. The guy is 34 years old, and he had some really good years with Baltimore. Okay, he did. He had that 30 home run year, then he had a couple in the 20s, and now he's gotten older and slower. This is not a guy I want. If I'm in an American League only league and I'm looking for a middle infielder and I got $1 to spend, maybe, just maybe, I'll take Hardy, but I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy about it at all. But I am happy about Manny Machado. Dude's 24 and he's really good. Now, we don't have the speed anymore for Machado because of his knees, but he can rake. I mean, the last 2 years, 633, 640 at-bats. 35 and 37 home runs. I'd like to see some more RBIs, but that's not his fault. If guys aren't on base, he's hitting. He's a hitter. I'm a big Manny Machado fan. So Castillo, Davis, Scope, Machado, Hardy. There's pop there. There's not a lot of speed, but there's pop. In the outfield, the most consistent person on the planet Earth is Adam Jones, right? Here are his years from 2011, 25 and 83, 32 and 82, 33, 108, 29, 96, 27, 82, 29, 83, and just pencil in 280, 285, 281, 280. I mean, that's what Adam Jones does. He's a good hitter, and he plays a good center field, and he will not hurt you in fantasy. Now, is he a second-round pick anymore? No. Is he a fourth-round pick anymore? No. Is he a sixth-round pick as my third outfielder? Sure. Is he a seventh-round pick as my second outfielder if I went pitching early? Sure. They picked up Seth Smith, and Seth Smith absolutely hits righties. He hits righties very well. I mean, he cannot hit a lefty at all. Can't. But he can hit righties. And Joey Ricard can hit lefties. Okay, so that's what you're going to do. He hit .313 last year against lefties. So Seth Smith and Joey Ricard, if I put them together, I should be able to have a guy who hits about 290. Smith should get me about 14 home runs and Ricard maybe another 5. So let's say 20 home runs and let's say about 90 RBIs between these two. It'll work. Absolutely can work. Hyun-Soo Kim is a guy who really frustrated me last year because I liked him. And I don't think he's a bad player. And the more he got to play last year, the better he did. At first, he couldn't touch the ball. But I think this is a guy who will be able to surprise people this year. The guy hit .302 last year. And in the beginning, he didn't even get a hit. Didn't it seem like he was 0 for April? But he finished with 6 home runs, 22 RBIs, and 300 at-bats. I'm not saying if we double it, that's what we're going to get. But I think he can get 10 home runs and 50 RBIs and hit about 290. So if I need that last outfielder spot, I have no problem taking a shot on him. At DH, it's Mark Trumbo. He's going to be a DH this year. He's got a lot of power. He's in a perfect park. I mean, I see 30 home runs and 90 RBIs. Put that in. Okay? Guys who I think could come up, Trey Mancini. Trey Mancini can hit lefties. He hit them pretty well last year in AAA, close to about 290. He's a very good hitter. And he's young. So if Trumbo should get hurt, if Kim sucks, Mancini's the kind of guy who could come up. He's not a great player, but he's just a guy I would watch. All right, the bullpen is outstanding. Zach Britton, arguably the best closer in baseball, signed a 1-year, $11 million contract. I mean, his ERA was .54 last year. His WHIP was .84. I mean, that's unheard of. He let up 1 home run in 67 innings. I mean, this is a really good pitcher here. Darren O'Day, Brad Brock, Michael Givens. These guys all are good. It's a good bullpen. It really is. It's a good bullpen. And Michael Givens had 74 innings, 59 hits, 96 strikeouts. That's good. Darren O'Day is nasty. He's got some nasty stuff. So I like this bullpen. The starting staff, this is where we have some issues, right? This is where we have some issues. So Chris Tillman is their anchor. And the problem is he's just not. He's just, as people would say, he's not a great fantasy pitcher. I don't hate him in real life, but he's just not a great fantasy pitcher. He's okay. But I think that this is a team that if Tillman was the 2, that would be so much better. So that's what the Orioles are missing. They're missing a number 1 starter. So when I think of Chris Tillman, I think of a guy who should get me about 180 innings, an ERA of the high 3s, a whip of high 1.2 range, maybe about 150 strikeouts. That's okay, but it's not special. Now, Kevin Gausman, on the other hand, could be special. He's got an arm that could be terrific. The problem is he's never really thrown 180 innings. Last year he was at 179 2/3. So is he ready to take the next step up? They're going to need him to. They're going to need Gausman to be terrific. If he can be, he moves into the 1, Tillman moves into the 2, and don't forget Dylan Bundy. Right, Dylan Bundy had some very good starts. Now, there's a lot wrong with Dylan Bundy, but there's a lot right. Okay? He pitched very well at home, but, last year was the first time he threw over 100 innings. But there were things I liked there. The strikeouts to walks, a little rough. But look, this is a guy who can win you games. He was one of the best young pitchers out there. So I think it's not crazy to think that Gausman and Bundy could be the 1, 2, Tillman in the 3. Wade Miley ain't going to kill you at the 4. I don't really like him, but he's an innings eater. Right? Lets up too many home runs, doesn't strike out enough guys. And then I despise Ubaldo Jimenez. I do. I despise Ubaldo Jimenez. This is a guy who is toxic. Toxic to your team. So here's where we are. We've got 3 starters who I would take. Ubaldo I want no part of, and Wade Miley, if it's $1 at the end and I need a spot and I'm desperate, maybe I'll look there. I like the bullpen, love the closer. So can Tillman, Gausman, Bundy, Miley give them 6 innings? If they can, O'Day, Brock, and Givens should be able to go 7 and 8 and get them to Britain. And then if that happens, the Orioles could be decent. But here's what happened. Here's another problem. What if the pitching's not good? What if Bundy's not ready? What if Tillman gets rocked against every number 1 starter he faces? What if Gausman's not ready for prime time as well? There's no speed to be had. So this Oriole team, I think, hovers between about 70 and 80 wins. If they go 500, it'll be a good year for Buck. If they go 70 wins, it's possible. It's all about their pitching. The pitching is weak. The pitching is absolutely weak. And there's really not a lot in the farm. There's nobody that you look down there and go, oh, if this guy comes up, it's a difference maker. I don't see it. I mentioned Mancini. Christian Walker has some ability. He has some ability, but I don't think he's the real deal yet. He hasn't really done it. So this team has a good offense with power, has a great bullpen, but they need speed and they need a starter. Until they get those things, they're not making the playoffs. All right, but if you want to make the playoffs, I want you to go to scoutfantasy.com. I want you to enter the promo code ROTO. That's ROTO. You pay for 1 month, you get 2 more for free. You get access to the team outlooks by Sean Childs. You get access to Adam Ronis' articles. You get access to Ryan Barra for PGA, Cappy and Kickman for hockey. Casey, Y2 Casey for MMA, Nate Weitzer for NBA. People out there who are doing a terrific job to give you the information that you need to win your leagues, right? And it's about putting the time in, putting the effort. Our rankings will be there. Our sleepers, our busts, overvalued, undervalued, the guys who can help you win your league. That's why you're with Scout, because you want to win. And we're winners, guys, and that's what we want you to be. Absolutely. All right, tomorrow, we're going to Beantown, the Red Sox. Fitzy, Sully, we're talking Red Sox tomorrow. Get the car out and get some chowder. This is Dr. Roto saying be well and take care.
Thanks for listening to the Scout Fantasy Show. There's never been a better time to join the Scout Army. Visit scoutfantasy.com. Use the promo ROTO for 2 months free. And don't forget, fantasy players, please thumbs up the podcast on the iHeart app. See you next time. Go Scouts!